Hey everyone, I'm Madison, and this is Sophie. She's my baby. Can you say hi, everybody, baby? Yeah, can you say hi? So anyways, welcome to the channel, and if this is your first time here, make sure you go ahead and press the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. New uploads are every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and yeah, you don't want to miss any of it. Today, we're going to be doing the 100 subscriber Q&A for you guys. I've had lots of people send me questions in through YouTube and over Twitter, and I'm going to answer those for you right now. But first, so I want to ask you guys something. I've been really thinking about starting live streams here on the channel. I'm thinking something like 1 or 2 Saturdays every month, like in the evenings. But I really only want to do it if there's going to be a good response and people are actually going to show up to watch and participate with me. So leave me a note in the comment section down below if that's something that you would be interested in me doing or that you would like to see. And that way I can kind of gauge the response and see if it's something that's worth doing at this point in time. Doesn't mean we won't ever do one, but it may be something we need to wait for until we have more subscribers on the channel. But yeah, let me know because I'm kind of interested in doing one for you. Okay, so on to the questions. First, from Twitter, we have Supersport1987 is asking, do you plan on reassignment surgery? And if so, what % of you is sure, excuse me, that that's what you want to do? Well, at Supersport1987, yes, I do plan on reassignment surgery. However, it's probably going to be something that doesn't happen until the next 3, maybe 4 years down the road, just due to the fact that it is so insanely expensive, like 20 to 30 grand expensive, and there's other surgeries I want to do first. I do plan on having my boobs done early next year, sometime around February or March, because I will have the money for that by then. But yeah, so it is something that I would like to have. It's just the money is a huge setback right now. You know, unless somebody out there wants to donate, 20 grand. Anyone? Well, I'll just put that out there for you guys and leave that there. But what % of me is sure that it's what I want to do? I am 100% sure that's what I want to do. Just because that part of my body has never felt normal to me. It's always felt very foreign, kind of like a phantom limb sort of thing, I guess. I don't know how you would describe it, but it's never felt right to me. So that is something that I want to do and something that I need to do as part of this transition. So great question, thanks. So over on YouTube, John King David has asked the question, did I start by coming out gay? Oh. And the answer to that would be no, I did not. So I think it's very important not to confuse your gender identity with your sexual orientation. And one good way to remember that is your gender identity is who you go to bed as, and your sexual orientation is who you go to bed with. I still and always have preferred women and been attracted to other women. So I suppose based on my gender identity, that would make me gay or a lesbian. But yeah, I did not start by coming out gay. And yeah, hope that answers your question. And then from Twitter, at alwaysnatalie13 asks, how did you choose the name Madison Kate? And that's a great question and one that has a good story behind it. So since my best friend had such a large role in helping me come out and encouraging me to be the person who I really was, I wanted to give her the opportunity to help me choose a name because it means a lot to me for her to have that kind of input and something that's going to be, everlasting and following me for the rest of my life. So we had kind of thought about some names together, and the name that I really liked for the longest time was Emily, and I had pretty much decided I was going to go with Emily. But we were still coming up with a few ideas, and one day she suggested like 2 or 3 different names. I remember one was Madison and the other one was Morgan. I think maybe the other was Mackenzie. I can't remember. But I really liked Morgan as well, but I was still kind of unsure. I liked all 3 of them. And then I actually was in San Antonio, Texas, having dinner by myself because I traveled a lot for work. So I was having dinner by myself, and I went to Hooters, and the waitress that came up to me, they always like write their name on the napkin, and when she wrote her name was Madison. And from pretty much that moment on, I had kind of fallen in love with the name Madison, and so that's how I ended up selecting that. My best friend kind of picked it out, but then, the Hooters girl kind of solidified that, I guess. I don't know if that's really something that I want associated with my name, but I think it's cute. I really like it, and I do think that it's kind of fitting. As far as my middle name for Kate, my given name that my mother gave me, my middle name, starts with a "k" sound as well. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but you could probably guess it if you thought about it really hard. And I kind of wanted to stay true to that, so I really just took like one of those baby name books and looked through it and found a lot of the girl names that kind of started with that similar sound. And I chose like 3 or 4 that I liked, and from there, me and my best friend kind of narrowed it down to Kate, which we thought sounded best with Madison. So that's how I became Madison Kate. Okay, and then from Twitter, @alwaysnatalie13 has another question, and they ask if I have any trans role models. And so in real life, I actually don't know anyone else who's transgender, and I am hoping to meet other people who are like me, but I would say my biggest trans role model is Laverne Cox. I think that she is so elegant and graceful, and the way that she carries herself is very inspiring to me. And not only that, but she has a much deeper voice than most women. And so that's something that I do find inspiring because, I think that I'm always going to have a deep voice, and that's something that I'm never going to be able to escape. So it makes me feel better about myself to know that there are other very highly successful, well-loved people who are trans and have deep voices. So yeah, Laverne Cox. She's the bomb. Cardo Skrilla, not sure how you say that, on YouTube asks, how do you feel about possibly being attractive to other men? Well, it flatters me, While I'm not attracted to men for the most part, I do still find it flattering just because it lets me know that I'm doing something right and somewhat passable, which, as I talked about in my last video, is something that I'm very self-conscious about. And so yeah, it doesn't bother me. It's very flattering, but primarily I am attracted to other women, and so it would be really great if some of them would find me attractive. Maybe one day. Or maybe I can just wait for OkCupid to filter out all the ugly ones for me, like I mentioned in a previous video as well. If you want to hear that funny story, go ahead and click the link above. But yeah, there's a few options there. But overall, it's very flattering that other men find me attractive. Earl Simpson from YouTube wants to know, how did you tell your parents that you were transgender? Well, Earl, great question. So I've actually only told one parent, which is my mother. My father does not know, mostly because he does not play a big part in my life. We do not have a very good relationship for very personal reasons that I'd rather keep private. But as far as my mother goes, I told her probably about 3 months ago, I think. And I did not have the words to be able to tell her what I was trying to say or the courage to do it. So I ended up writing her a letter. And I wrote her this letter trying to explain everything the best I could. And I gave it to her one night when I was over at her house. We had dinner together. And I gave her this letter, and I let her read it while I went outside in the backyard to play with the dogs. And I gave her time and her space so she could read it and think about what to say. And then afterwards, she kind of came outside, and we started talking about it a little bit. And that's pretty much how I told my mother. So I think that writing a letter is something very useful if you have trouble with words, especially talking about really sensitive personal topics like that. So it's one way that worked out really well for me, and I would recommend it to anyone else perhaps struggling with that same issue. Piggybacking off that question, Dylan Johnson from YouTube wants to know, have you told your family that you're trans, and if so, how did they react? So obviously I've told my mother. I actually have not told any other members of my family besides my mother. However, I have told all my friends, everybody at work. They all know. It's just my family I have not finished telling. It's something on my to-do list, and actually, as the time of this recording, I have been calling my sister for the past 3 days, trying to get in touch with her so that I can talk to her and tell her, you know, that I'm trans and what's been going on with me lately. But apparently, I guess she's like on vacation at some lake somewhere, and their cell phone service is really bad. She's supposed to be back in a few days, I think. So I do plan on calling and telling her in the next, week or so sometime. So she's next on my list. And then that will just leave my grandparents and my extended family. And I think it would be nice to finish being completely out by June, or by the end of June rather. I've kind of imposed a deadline on myself for that, just to actually force myself to get it done. If not, I'm just going to procrastinate and put it off, because it's something that's very difficult to do and very difficult to talk about. But my mother, as far as how she reacted, I think she reacted as well as I could expect anyone that close to me to react. It's something that we are still working on, we're dealing with, we talk about it, and I do think it's going to get a little bit better with time, a little bit easier, but overall I'm very happy and proud of the way my mother reacted. So yeah. Okay, and Shy Girl Toby, or Tobe, I'm not sure how you say that, asked on YouTube, before I started laser hair removal, what did I do to get my facial hair cut so close? I'm sorry for the clicking you hear in the background. I really need to get Sophie's nails trimmed. Come on up here, baby. Yeah, come here. Come on. Say hi to everybody on camera. So anyways, what I used is I just used like a regular like Gillette Fusion razor, and I would always shave like up, like against the grain, to help cut it closer. And then when I wore makeup, I would just apply extra foundation to those areas to help cover it up. I'm sure you could also use like a concealer or something. I just didn't have one, so I just used extra foundation. But I've actually had 4 laser hair treatments. I made a video about my laser hair removal experience. I'll put that up above. But overall, I've been very pleased with the results, and I think it's made a big difference. And I also promised Shy Girl Toby that I would put a video, because she referenced my, she watched my coming out video, and she referenced this Halloween party at work. And so I promised her that I would put a picture of me up for you guys to see, of me at this Halloween party. Quick disclaimer, I was a sexy zombie Snow White, and I had like this like makeup on my face to make it look like, you know, part of my cheek had rotted off from like the rotten apple. It was really cool. My best friend did the makeup, and she was amazing at it. But so anyway, I'll go ahead and put a picture of that up for you guys, and also a picture of me today, so you can kind of see the difference and see you know, how that's worked out as far as facial hair went, and also, you know, get a quick glimpse of what 7 months on hormones does to your face. Okay, from Twitter, April 6 Rain asks, what is the best and worst things to happen in your transition so far? Well, the best thing in my transition, you know, obviously besides, you know, my body becoming closer and closer to what I perceive as right and normal. Every day I look in the mirror, it changes, and I'm very, very happy with that. And for the first time in my life, I'm finally starting to feel like things are supposed to, and my dysphoria is probably the least that it's been in the last, 20 years. So aside from that, the best thing that's ever happened to me in my transition is the reaction that I've gotten from most people. People in real life that I know, people from YouTube who watch my videos. The reaction and support that I've received has been nothing short of amazing. I never expected that at all, so I'm very surprised and very grateful. I also have a few friends who had turned into more of like acquaintances. We didn't really talk a whole lot anymore, and my transition has brought us closer. So I am very happy that that has changed, and overall, like I said, just the support and love I've received from everyone is probably the best thing I ever could have happened to me. The worst thing is probably a toss-up. It's either the laser hair removal because it sucks, or the fact that the whole first month that I was on hormones, I got super sick, and I pretty much hugged the toilet the entire time. I lost like 15 pounds that, as you can tell by looking at me, I did not have to lose. So that was probably the worst thing that's happened to me so far. And if you want to know more about the changes I've experienced on hormones, I'll also link to that video up above, and you guys can click on that and check it out. And lastly, from YouTube, we have a question from, I'm so sorry I'm going to butcher this because I don't know how to say the name. I think it's Chibi Luna? I'm not sure, please forgive me. But they want to know, is it hard shopping for clothes as a trans girl? And I don't really have a good answer for you on this, because it's hard shopping for clothes for me to begin with, regardless of the gender, just because I'm so skinny and I'm really tall actually. I'm like 6'1", and so that makes it really tough in general to find clothes, especially pants. So, you know, girl clothes are kind of the same thing, maybe a little bit harder. So clothes in general for me are difficult. The same with shoes. I tend to have really big feet. I wear like a size 11 or 12 in women's, and so it's very difficult to find cute shoes that fit me right. So yeah, it is very hard shopping for clothes as a girl, or for any gender that matter, when you're built like me. Well, okay guys, that's all the questions that we had submitted for this video. If you liked what you saw, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. And also let me know, do you guys like these Q&As? You know, we can plan on doing another one at another subscriber milestone if you like. So just let me know, and I will take it all into consideration. I do read and respond to every single comment down below. You guys have been so great and so amazing with that, and I really enjoy getting to interact with you. So like I said, I think that a live stream would be something that I would really enjoy. I just want to make sure we'll have enough people on there watching to make it worth our time. So don't forget, if that's something that you are interested in, is watching me or joining me for a live stream, please tell me in the comment section down below, and you know, if we get a good enough response, I'll go ahead and get something scheduled for you know, in the next couple weeks, and we'll get going on that. But otherwise, you know, until next time, you guys, be kind and make good choices.